For as long as I can remember, I've suffered from what they call face blindness. Every face I see looks exactly like the one I see in the mirror, if it looks like anything at all. It's not easy being a detective when you can't see faces. I found ways to identify people by their clothing, their hair, the way they carried themselves. But then, one day, the inevitable happened, and I slipped up. I'll always remember the day my old partner, Roger Powell, came into the office looking like a volcanic freight train.
Damn it, Carson, you arrested the wrong man!
I'm sorry?
Some stooge downtown just confessed to the Zambezi murders, and it all checks out. Turns out Lumford was innocent all along.
Well, my apologies for getting that wrong. I'm glad it's all been cleared up.
For the love of Pete, Carson, it hasn't been cleared up. Lumford went to the chair, and he had a wife and kids. They just lost their husband and father all over a crime he didn't even commit.
Look, what do you want me to do? Mr. Lumford matched the description of the suspect perfectly. He had the same hat, wore the same suit.
Hot diggity, Carson, it's 1938. Everyone wears hats and suits like this. Look at the picture. This is Lumford, this is the guy that did it. They don't even look remotely alike.
There's a bit of a resemblance. They've both got...
There's no use making excuses. What's done is done. Lumford is dead, and our partnership is over.
Does it really come to this?
Indeed it has. May God have mercy on your soul.
That was 3 years ago. Now Roger takes all the real cases in town, and I'm left with the dregs, the leftovers, the scrap metal, the rot, the grime, the hopeless people with no one else to turn to. Like this guy, Herman Fenschwengler, a refugee from one of those war-torn countries over in Europe.
Please, you must help me, Mr. Carson. Someone has stolen an item of great importance.
So, what exactly did they steal?
Well, you see, I can't really say.
Someone stole something important from you, but you don't know what it is.
No, I know very much what it is. The thing is, I cannot tell you what it is.
Why not?
Classified information. Very highly classified.
Look, pal, you gotta give me something to go off of. How big is it? Is it bigger than a bread box?
No, I wouldn't say.
Smaller than a bread box?
Perhaps, although it...
Is it a bread box? Because if someone stole your bread box, that's really on you.
No, it is an item that looks a bit like a small radio. Is that a helpful thing to know?
Perhaps, but look, you need to realize I'm investigating a lot of cases right now.
Really? You don't seem very busy. When I came in here, you were lining up all the pencils on your desk in a way that indicated you were very, very bored.
That was an important tactic in solving an ongoing missing persons case. Don't make assumptions about things you don't understand, Mr. Fenschwengler.
My apologies.
Now, I will take your case, but don't get your hopes too high. With so little information to go by, I'm likely to hit a dead end fast. You understand?
Oh yes, but I assure you, any effort at all to recover my stolen property would mean more to me than all the gold in heaven and earth.
I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'll do my best.
Thank you. And Godspeed to you, my friend.
I had a funny feeling about this case. Like the sort of feeling you get when you bite into a cheese sandwich and you're pretty sure you taste tomato in it even though you didn't order it with tomato. Anyway, because of this funny feeling, I made the decision to discreetly follow Mr. Fenschwengler after he left my office.
Who did this to you?
I did not see them. But truthfully, there is only one man who could have done this.
Who?
He is a man so vile, even those he considers friends recoil when his name is spoken. He is the very
Dagnabbit, just tell me his name!
His name is...
Son of a monkey's uncle.
It was at that moment that I realized I was in way over my head. This man had been murdered minutes after soliciting my help. I was off the deep end and into the bottomless belly of the six-headed beast. It was enough to make me deviate from my usual playbook and do something I never thought I'd do.
Carson!
Hello, Roger.
Well, I'll be damned. What cat dragged you in here?
A few hours ago, a man named Herman Fenschwengler came to me looking for help recovering an item that had been stolen from him. He was vague, but it was clear this thing was important. And a few minutes after he left my office, I found him dead in an alleyway. Murdered.
Sweet mother of Abraham Lincoln, that sure sounds like something.
I know. That's why I came to you. I can track down his radio or whatever, but murder investigation's more your wheelhouse.
He must have known he was in danger. Why didn't he just come to me in the first place?
I imagine you were out of his price range.
Really? Even with all the discounts I offer?
That's not important. Fenschwengler. That was his name. I think the case is definitely worth looking into. And with both of us on it, we'll be that much more likely to find something.
Well, I will indeed look into it. So thank you. And Carson.
Yes?
If you ever grab a drink over at the Rusty Nail Can, say hello to Howard for me. I never make it to that side of town anymore.
I will. Thanks. With so few details to go by, there was only one place I could go. I needed to see the mysterious man who knew everything happening in the city. He was a true enigma. No one had ever seen his face. He was always in the shadows. We called him the Man in the Shadows. Are you there?
Cliff Carson, you got a lot of nerve coming to me after what happened last time.
I'm sorry about that. I was strapped for cash at the time. Roger had left the week before, and I was just starting to rebuild my client base.
Yeah, meanwhile I'm over here with a giant antique clock that, as it turns out, has little to no resale value.
Well, I can pay you cash this time. I'll pay double if you give me anything good.
Oh yeah? What's this about?
A man named Fenschwengler had something important stolen from him, and shortly afterward he was murdered.
Fenschwengler, eh? I don't know the name.
Well, do you know anything that might tie into this? Someone shot him right after he left my office. Any information you have would be much appreciated.
Well, alright. I don't know if this is relevant, but I'll tell you anyway. This English guy, Nigel Corbinshire, moved to town about a month ago. He beat out all the usual suspects to acquire the Bismarck warehouse, and the thing is, no one's quite sure why. People talk, you know, when word on the street is there's something suspicious going on with that jolly old British chap.
Alright, well that's something I can look into at least.
Yeah, that was a pretty good tip, huh? You can leave your payment in the bucket like always.
You know there's no harm in me seeing your face. You'll just look the same as everyone else.
Oh no, that's not happening. I got 2 giant scars that are impossible to miss. Got 'em from one of my monkeys. I'm still breeding the monkeys, you know, for the circuses.
Oh yes, I remember.
Huge set of claws on this one. Tore my left cheek to shreds.
I wasn't aware monkeys had large claws.
Yeah, well, this goon was a South American black-maned macaca. Deadliest chimp this side of the equator. Finally got him out of my hair last August. Sold him to one of them extreme circuses. You hear about those?
No, and I didn't come here to talk about monkeys and circuses. I really need to head off and continue investigating. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, you better be thankful.
I am. I tracked down Nigel Corbinshire and arranged to meet him in his penthouse. This guy seemed like a real big shot. The kind of guy with enough money to buy every house on the street and blow them all up with dynamite just because he could. Needless to say, I was a bit intimidated.
Ah, yes. Come on in. Tell me your name, sir.
I'm Cliff Carson, sir. Pleased to meet you.
I am meeting you as well, but I don't yet know if I'm pleased or not. What do you want?
Well, I'm a private detective, and I'm currently investigating a murder and the theft of something or other, but the person whose item was stolen has been murdered, so I suppose that's the more pressing issue. His name was Herman Fenschwangler.
Well, why are you telling this to me? What in the blazes would make you think that I, Nigel Theodosius Copenshire IV, would care about something as petty as the murder of some anonymous man?
Nothing specifically, I'm just knocking up every tree I can find, and well, you're a prominent foreigner who's relocated to the city rather abruptly, and fair or not, that's cause for suspicion.
Are you saying I'm under suspicion because I'm from England?
To a degree, yes.
Well, bloody hell, when are you Americans going to get over all that nonsense with the tea bags or whatever it was you revolted over? You won that war, we Brits don't care anymore, now sort off!
I believe, and this is all secondhand, but what I've been told is that most of the suspicion surrounding you is due to your purchase of a warehouse out by the waterfront.
Yes, I am the current owner of a warehouse, but what on God's green earth does that have to do with anything? It's my property and I shall do with it as I wish.
I have no reason to suspect otherwise. As I said, I'm just covering all my bases.
Are you familiar with Shakespeare, Mr. Carson?
Well, yes, the name definitely rings a bell.
He was a writer of plays out my way a few hundred years back, overrated in my opinion, didn't know how to write the way people actually talk, but there is one quotation of his I'm rather fond of. In the Tragedy of Marvolo, Act 4, Scene 1, Prince Florian turns to a servant and says, "At the night of my indulgent solitude, I beg of thee make haste with the fortuitous wisdom of briny cataclysms."
That certainly is an inspiring quote.
Yes, and it's really just a fancy way of saying, there is no longer any reason for you to be here. Please get out. Good day to you, sir.
Understood. I don't really have any more questions, so
I said good day.
Corbinshire had given me nothing. Not that I expected much, but now I was back to the first square on the increasingly difficult board game that was this case. I needed to go back to the office and regroup, but when I got there, I received an unexpected surprise. By which I mean, in my office, there was an unexpected person.
They say you're the man investigating the Fenschwangler murder.
Yes, Who are you?
My name is Vanessa Calloway. My husband used to work with Mr. Fenschwangler until a few years ago, when he too was killed under mysterious circumstances. It doesn't take a super genius to suspect the two murders might be connected.
Yes, that is very interesting indeed. Tell me more about your husband. Who was he and what was his connection to Fenschwangler?
My husband was Dr. Lionel Calloway, one of the most respected scientists in the city. He helped Mr. Fenschwangler get the papers he needed to come over from Europe. The two of them were working together on some sort of top-secret project.
Right. Fenschwangler was really tight-lipped when I talked to him before he died. Couldn't even give me a clear idea as to what it was that had been stolen from him. Do you know anything more about what they were working on together?
Unfortunately, no. My husband never brought his work home with him.
So, how did he die? What do you know about that?
He was found dead in the street one night with minimal evidence as to who did it. The authorities called it a mob hit and went about their merry way, but I always suspected they rushed the job and there had to be more to it.
Was there even a reason why your husband would have been targeted by the mob?
Well, he did have some dealings with the Sardoni gang.
Really? The Sardonis? Just what kind of respected scientist runs around with thugs like that?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Carson, but in a city like this, a man does what he must to survive. I know you yourself are well acquainted with a certain man in the shadows. In fact, he was the one who told me that you were on this case.
How does a pretty lady like you know the man in the shadows?
I've been searching for my husband's real killer for 2 years. You wouldn't believe some of the people I've run into.
Well, now that you bring him up, Rico Sardoni is connected to most of the crime in the city. Even if he's not directly involved, he probably knows something about what happened to Fenschwangler. It just won't be easy to get close to him.
Believe me, anything you can do that might bring the people who killed my husband to justice would mean the world to me.
I'd knocked heads with Rico Sardoni on a case with Roger years ago, and he wasn't someone I had any desire to see again. But sometimes life just hands you a bag of rotten onions. Ordinarily, he wasn't an easy man to get an audience with, but, as it happened, one of the bartenders at his preferred hangout owed me a favor.
Cliff Carson, haven't seen you here in ages.
Hello, Howard. Roger sends his regards as well.
Ah, you're working with Roger again.
No, but I did see him recently, and he asked me to give you his salutations.
Oh, well, that was nice of him. So you'll be having the usual, I suppose?
If you wouldn't mind. Look, I'm investigating a really heated case right now, and I need to know, does Rico Sardoni still have his room in the back?
Yeah, he's back there as usual. I don't like it, my manager doesn't like it, but he keeps us in business, you know?
That's life, isn't it?
Yeah, he gave us a real nice bonus last month. We're gonna use it to put in a jukebox machine. You heard of those? It's this machine that just plays music, one song right after the other. No need for a live band.
That's fascinating. Now look, it would really help with my investigation if I could speak with Mr. Sardoni tonight.
Oh, Cliff, that's a tall order, you know? He really doesn't like visitors.
I was hoping you could pull some strings for me. You still owe me for taking those pictures of Barbara Rockwell last spring.
Yeah, that's true. I still got those pictures in my bathroom. They came out real good. You got a real eye for the light and shadow.
Yes, well, they weren't easy to get. You have no idea how aggressive Pomeranians can be when they're hungry enough. Now then, how do I get back there with Sardoni?
Yeah, all right. You see that big guy over there? That's Tony, his guard. When you walk up to him, he's gonna ask you what you want. You tell him you'd like to buy a duck. He's gonna tell you they're all out of ducks. So you tell him a goose will do just fine.
What?
And then he'll let you into the room. It's this whole secret code password kind of thing.
Well, all right. Thank you. We're even now.
What do you want?
I'd like to buy a duck.
Sorry, pal. We're fresh out of ducks.
That's okay. A goose will do just fine.
And then we pour in the cement. And it's like she never... Oh, whoa, what the hell is this? This is a private room. How the hell did you get back here?
Bartender gave me the password.
Oh, the bartender told you. You know, that is the third time this week he's let the password slip. He's just giving it out like candy now. Like what, I'm the Easter Bunny everybody wants to come and see?
He owed me a favor because there's no point explaining. The reason I'm here...
Wait a tick. I know you. You're one of the two gents who busted up my raid on the shoe factory back in 34.
Yes, that was my former partner and I. So
Yeah, well, you can go straight to hell. I lost 30 million on that job, you know that? My best guy, Johnny Short Pants, is in the clique now on account of you.
I'm very sorry to hear that, but I'm investigating a new case now and I need information. Do you know anything about a man named Herman Fenschwangler? He's been murdered.
Nope, never heard of the guy. And trust me, I'd remember a wackadoo name like that.
What about Lionel Calloway? He was a scientist, died a few years back.
Oh, Calloway, yeah, I knew him. Loaned him a couple thousand for some experiment and somebody put a cap in him before he could pay it back.
So wait, you had nothing to do with his murder?
No, of course not. I wanted that money. Sure, the fuzz tried to pin it on us, but they had no proof, so it didn't hold.
Well, do you have any idea who did kill Calloway? Because I have reason to believe the same people may have just killed Fenschwangler.
What, am I the phone operator for guys with guns? Just because I'm the city's big-time gangster, I know who killed this guy and that girl and that dog and that
I
cat.
didn't mean it that way. I'm just grasping for anything.
All right, no. You know what? You have been in here way too long. I have talked to you more in the last 2 minutes than I've talked to my wife in the last week. Now, that is a whole other issue that I won't even get into, but hey, Tony!
Yeah, boss?
Get this guy out of here. He's wasting my time.
Look, if you could just give me any information...
Come
that
on,
might-
pal,
What are you
let's
doing?
go.
Put me down.
And stay out.
Once again, I had received no useful information. My trail was running as dry as the Sahara Desert on a warm night in August. The only person who had given me anything I could go by was the woman who'd showed up at my office unexpectedly, so the only sensible thing to do was go back to the office and hope for the unexpected. Did you stay here the whole time I was gone?
I went home for a while and had some chicken salad. Then I came back here to see if you had found anything.
Oh, well, I haven't found anything. I talked to Sardoni, but he doesn't seem to be connected to this at all. I don't think he was involved with your husband's death either.
Oh, no, he wasn't. I've been sure of that for the past year now.
I don't know where to go from here. The British guy, nothing. Sardoni, nothing. I'm just chasing a bunch of wild geese down dead-end trails.
Well, you've been at this for a long time. I'm sure you can afford to take a break for a little while. You know... I'm just going to come right out and say it. I have not been with a man since my husband died, and my body is aching to be touched. You're a handsome fellow, Mr. Carson, and you seem like you could use a little...
Look, I appreciate your generosity, but I'll pass. I've never really had a way with women.
Oh? Why's that?
Have you ever heard of face blindness?
Face blindness?
I can't recognize faces. They all look the same to me, even my own. As far as I'm concerned, everyone looks exactly like me.
That's fascinating.
So, the way it always goes is, anytime I think I'm starting to get close to a woman, a moment comes where I'm looking her in the eye and I just see my own face staring back at me, and it's so weird and it just kills the moment.
Really? So you're telling me that when you look at my delicate feminine features, you see your own male face? Yes. I mean like a female version of it with the hair and the makeup. I can tell you're a woman. That is wild. It is, believe me. You know you wouldn't have to look at my face. Look, Mrs. Calloway. Please, call me Vanessa. Vanessa, I can't. It's just, it always gets weird. It's weird right now. I need a distraction. I need to listen to the radio. That's right, the radio. You go ahead. I'll be right here.
Corman punches Gillibrand. Now he's punching the ref. Holy Toledo, it's a total free-for-all. This is... Cucamonga cigarettes are healthy, refreshing, and all the cool kids are... And then I say to my wife, I should have left you back in Minnesota with all the bears! And now here's another round of predictions from our own mystical medium, Montauk the Magnanimous.
You ever hear this guy? He's nuts.
Greetings, my friends. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friends, future events such as these will affect you in the future. I predict that by the year 1980, automobiles will have been replaced entirely by jetpacks. I predict that by the year 2000, mankind will have colonies on the moon, Mars, and 2 or 3 planets beyond our own solar system. I predict that by the year 2020, every person will carry a device in his or her pocket that will simultaneously function as a telephone, a clock, a camera, a radio, a motion picture screen, and other things we can only dream of.
Can you believe this nonsense?
It is all rather far-fetched.
I would like to take a moment to remind you that my program is sponsored by Kevron Laboratories. That's Kevron Laboratories creating the technology that will bring us forth into the future.
Well, that's odd.
What?
My husband used to work for Kevron Laboratories. It was where he collaborated with Mr. Fenschwengler. But I was under the impression that the lab was shut down years ago.
Throw my shoes down the stairs and call them macaroni? We might just have a lead.
And remember, if you would like to learn your own future, you may stop by my studio at 37 Baybrook Avenue anytime, day or night. The future does not keep regular hours.
That's where I need to go. It was as much a long shot as all the other threads I'd needled, but I made my way across town to see this almost certainly fraudulent radio psychic. Maybe, just maybe, he held the key that would unlock the tangled birdcage of intrigue I'd become tied up in.
Ah, hello, my friend. I suspect that you are here to lower the veil of mystery that enshrouds your own future.
How did you guess?
I am Montauk the Magnanimous, my good man. I know all. Please, have a seat. Send me all of your energies. Let me see. Yes! I am sensing it now. I am seeing a woman. Have you recently met a woman?
Well, yes.
Well, this woman will become a very big part of your life if you only allow her to. Oh, now I am seeing a pig. And not a regular farm pig, no, but a large, hair-covered wild boar. Have you recently encountered such an animal?
No.
Are you sure? Oh, no, it is not a wild boar. It is a buffalo? Merely a cow, perhaps. Oh, now I am seeing another animal. A large monkey with fearsome claws.
Well, I recently talked to a guy who breeds monkeys like that. Or so he says.
There is only one way to pierce this fog. I must bring out my antivoicababulator.
What in the name of Samuel Hillerson is that thing?
It is my antivoicababulator.
No, in all seriousness, what is that? It looks like nothing I've ever seen before. Did it by any chance come from Kevron Laboratories?
Yes, this device was provided to me by my radio program's humble sponsor.
I see. What can you tell me about Kevron Laboratories?
Very little. They are quite secretive.
I'm well aware.
Now, can we get back to viewing your future?
No, actually, to be honest, that's not why I came here. I want to know more about that lab.
As I said, I really can't...
That's it! I've had enough of all this secrecy!
My antivoicababulator.
Listen, a man is dead right now and another guy was killed a few years back. I have reason to believe that Kevron Laboratories is somehow connected to both of these murders. Now, if you'd like to continue peddling your nonsensical visions of the future over the airwaves, I need all the information you have.
Alright, there's this one guy I talked to. His name's Kleinhauser or something foreign like that. He said he'd fund the radio show and help me come up with more accurate predictions somehow once his plans were further along. But he needed to tie up some loose ends first.
Where is he? Where can I find him?
I met him at his lab. I can tell you where that is, but I can't guarantee he'll be there. I'm telling you, that's all I know.
Just tell me where the lab is.
At last I was getting somewhere. My once cold trail was now burning hotter than a batch of red peppers cooked on the surface of the sun. I headed into the Kevron laboratory, hoping my lucky streak would continue.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting to see you again, especially not here of all places.
Yes, well, wait. I've met you before?
Of course, we just met a short while ago.
Right. I've talked to a lot of people today. Which one are you?
You barged into my apartment, asking all kinds of questions about my warehouse and its connection to some murder.
Oh, you're the British guy. Right.
How do you not recognize me? We literally just met.
My apologies. I suffer from what's commonly called face blindness. All faces look the same to me.
Oh, great. That would have been nice to know before I just went and told you precisely who I was.
Wait. So you really are the one who's behind all this after all?
Well, I suppose the metaphorical cat has been released from the metaphorical bag. As you may have surmised, Nigel Corbenshire does not exist. My name, in truth, is Fritz Kleinhauser, and I hail not from England, but from a very different part of Europe.
France.
Now,
Portugal.
don't you...
The Soviet Union.
Could you just...
The Maldives.
That's not even it.
Norway.
No, why would you...
Latveria.
I'm from Germany, you imbecile. How does the name Fritz Kleinhauser not just scream, I'm German?
Germany. Right. That makes sense.
Yes. I came here in pursuit of a Mr. Hermann Fenschwengler, with whom I believe you are acquainted. He was recruited by the Third Reich to build a device that would make our victory all but assured. However, he had a change of heart and fled to America. It took many years to track him down, but now, at long last, he is dead, and his creation belongs to me.
Really? That's it? That little thing? That's what all of this has been about?
Appearances can be deceiving. The device I hold in my hand will forever change the course of the human race. Past, present, and future will become one. The ability to traverse all 4 dimensions will make Deutschland more powerful than all of mankind's greatest empires combined. You're spouting mumbo-jumbo. Just what the hell are you even talking about? Time travel, Mr. Carson! Mr. Fenstrangler's invention allows us to journey into the past, to witness any moment in history and even change it if one so desires. Or to go forth into the future, see what is to come, which paths to follow and which to avoid. With mastery over time, there will be no stopping us when we declare war on every corner of the earth. Victory is inevitable! I'll believe that doohickey is a time machine when I meet Cleopatra. In the meantime, you're coming downtown with me. On the contrary, Mr. Carson, it is you who... We will continue this conversation when next we meet, if we ever do meet again, which is unlikely! Damn it, Vanessa! Have you been following me all night?
I'm sorry, I had to do it. He killed my husband.
I'm not actually 100% sure he did kill your husband. He very well may have, but I need someone to lay out the whole backstory timeline for me before I can say for sure.
Either way, he needed to die. I heard all that he was talking about. It was horrifying.
He needed to be brought to justice, and I was in a prime position to bring him to justice before you came along. Now he's off to the past or the future, or more realistically, some sort of secret passageway.
Well, pardon me if I thought you had him cornered. This was only my 4th time firing a gun. I'm not quite...
I know where he must have gone. The Bismarck warehouse. He just bought it and no one's sure why. It must be part of this whole plot. I'm heading over there now.
I'll go with you.
No! Stop following me. You've caused enough trouble as it is.
The Bismarck warehouse had originally belonged to a powerful fish shipping company that used it to smuggle illegal toothpaste from China. Now it was in the possession of a German spy who presumably wanted to use it as part of some deranged time travel scheme. The place had a nasty reputation, and I could feel it as soon as I stepped inside. A funk that clung to the walls and lingered in the air, like really moldy pollen from one of those plants that smells like a human corpse. It didn't exactly smell like that per se, but I could tell something bad was going on in here.
Carson, you found your way here too, eh?
Roger, how did you...
After you gave me that tip, I just followed the clues. They led me right to this bastard. Oh. Okay then. Well, I'm glad you managed to apprehend him. Yeah. Now you can watch me put his lights out. What? No, we need to bring him in. He needs to face justice with due process. There's no due process for scum like this. He needs to be taken out of the equation before he can hurt anyone else. No, we need to gather evidence. We need to build a case against him, or it could be Lumford all over again. No, this is nothing like that. Come on, let's go. We're just leaving him here. I'll contact the authorities at the nearest phone booth. Okay. Okay. Well, would you look at this? The two of us wrapping up a case together again. Who would have ever thought? Certainly not me. You know what we should do? We should get celebratory drinks over at the Rusty Nail Can. Howard might even provide them to us on the house. Who? Howard. The bartender we used to talk to all the time. Right, of course. I mean, you just mentioned him to me when I... Wait a minute. You're not Roger. You just switched clothes so I wouldn't be able to tell you apart. Very good, Mr. Carson. I was wondering when you'd figure it out. You killed him. You killed Roger. You goddamn fiend. And now you can join him in hell. What's happening? The time travel device has been activated. We are now traveling rapidly backward through time. And now I shall finally kill you, and leave you to die here in the primordial past where your body will never be found.
Somehow I figured out how to work the time machine and get back to the future. I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to process the surreal reverie I'd just experienced, But at the very least, it was abundantly clear that the villain responsible for all the madness that had transpired was gone for good. Unfortunately, I still had to live with the fact that I'd inadvertently gotten my old partner killed by dragging him into this, and he might have been okay if I'd just been able to recognize his face. But that's life. It never works out the way you want it to, and even when it does, it eventually doesn't.
I thought I told you not to follow me.
I've never been the sort of girl who lets a man tell her what to do or not do.
Well, it doesn't matter much anyway. Kleinhauser's already dead.
He is? What happened?
I'd tell you, but you'd never believe me. You know, when I went to question that fortune-telling charlatan from the radio show, he told me a woman I'd recently met would become a very big part of my life. I don't put much stock in his predictions, but...
I can be as big or as small a part of your life as you'd like me to be, Mr. Carson.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's my face. It's too weird.